Hello and welcome to the Myschool channel. My name is Angela, and in this video we're going to be tackling the JAMB past question for 2024 for English language. So please stay with us, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Myschool channel. Like I said earlier, we're going to be tackling the JAMB past question for English language for the year 2024. So in this video, we're going to be tackling questions 76 to 100. So let's begin with question 76. In each of the following questions, choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters underlined. So the letter underlined is the letter P in public. Option A, trophy. Option B, pharmacy. Option C, psychology. And option D, handicap. So let's go to the board to transcribe the words. So for the word public, the letter P is underlined, it's pronounced public. So it's the P sound that we have at the beginning of that word. Then for option A, we have the word trophy. So the P in that word is pronounced F along with the H. So the P, H together make up the F sound. Then in option B, we have pharmacy. The P and the H again make up the F sound. Then in option C, we have psychology. Psychology. The P is silent in this particular word, so we just have this sound at the beginning of the word. And then for option D, we have handicap. So we have the P sound here, handicap. So from the transcription of the consonant sounds, we can see that option D has the P sound as the word public. So let's go to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription of the consonant sounds, you can see that option D, handicap, is the answer to this question. Question 77. Choose the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. The paper stated that the driver of the lorry was helping the police in their investigation. Option A, joining the police in their investigation. B, being questioned at the police station. C, helping the police to drive around. And D, helping the police who were injured. So the answer to this question is option B, being questioned at the police station. So when a particular paper states that somebody is helping the police in their investigation, it's a euphemism for being questioned at the police station. They're asking questions about the event he witnessed or he partook in. So option B, being questioned at the police station, is the answer to this question. Question 78. Choose the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. It is not in my place to keep late no matter what happens. Option A, I am not used to keeping late. Option B, I am a habitual latecomer to any event. Option C, I do not get to anywhere later than expected. And option D, I do not really care whether I get to an event late or not. So the answer to this question is option A, I am not used to keeping late. So when someone says it is not my place to keep late, no matter what happens, it means I am not used to coming late to a particular event, or I'm not used to staying late at night, depending on the context. But in this particular context, I am not used to coming late to a particular event is the interpretation for that sentence. So option A best describes that I am not used to keeping late. Keeping late means arriving late to a particular event. So when you are not used to keeping late, it is not in your habits to come late for a particular event. Although it may seem like option C, I do not get to anywhere later than expected, is the answer to this question. But please note that this particular sentence also indicates that you're talking about your habits, what you are used to doing and what you're not used to doing. So option C doesn't convey the habits part of that sentence. It says, I do not get to anywhere later than expected. It doesn't explain anything about the habits of that particular person. But option A does that. When you say, I am not used to doing something, it's not in my habits to keep late. So option A, I am not used to keeping late, is the answer to this question. Question 79. Again, we have to look for the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. Tayo had to separate himself neck and crop from his old friend. Option A, he became scared of his old friend. Option B, he became suspicious of his old friend. C, he completely severed from his old friend. And D, he completely forgave his old friend's offenses. So the answer to this question is option C, he completely severed from his old friend. So to separate neck and crop from someone is a common idiom. It means to separate yourself from that person, to sever a relationship that you once had with that particular person. So option C, he completely severed from his old friend, best explains the information conveyed in that sentence. Option C is the answer to this question. Question 80. One of the prerequisites for success in examinations is burning the midnight oil. Option A, needs to study late into the night. B, should stay awake all day. C, one should burn all the candles. And D, one needs to study at will. The answer to this question is option A, needs to study late into the night. So when you are talking about burning the midnight oil, this is a common idiom. So it actually means staying late into the night to study. So a student who burns the midnight oil is someone who stays late into the night to study to ensure that he passes his or her examinations. So option A, needs to study late into the night, is the answer to this question. Question 81. In each of the following questions, choose the option opposite in meaning to the word or phrase underlined. The instructions given to him are vague. Option A, clear, B, obscure, C, hazy, and D, sure. So the answer to this question is option A, clear. The word vague actually means not clearly understood, not clear. So the opposite of that will be clear, unambiguous. So option A, clear, is the answer to this question. Question 82. Again, we have to look for the word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Due to an old age, mother has become taciturn. Option A, reserved, B, quiet, C, cold, and D, garrulous. So the answer to this question is option D, garrulous. The word taciturn means habitually quiet or reserved in speech, someone who doesn't talk a lot. Then the opposite of that would be garrulous. Garrulous means someone who is excessively talkative, someone who talks a lot. So option D, garrulous, is the answer to this question. Question 83. Again, we are looking for the word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. She remembered how reticent her father had been about his past. Option A, unpredictable. Option B, insinuating. Option C, difficult. And option D, forthcoming. So the answer to this question is option D, forthcoming. So the word reticent means someone who is quiet and reserved and is unwilling to share his thoughts and emotions on a particular issue. So the opposite of that would be someone who is forthcoming, someone who is willing to share every idea, every opinion that he or she has. So option D, forthcoming, is the answer to this question. Question 84. The trial of the former governor was stopped and the earlier judgment was declared null and void. Option A, invalid. Option B, nugatory. Option C, void. And option D, credible. So the answer to this question is option D, credible. Credible is opposite in meaning to the phrase null and void. So the word null and void actually means something that is invalid, that has been declared invalid or no longer has a legal force, especially in this context. So the trial of the former governor was stopped and the earlier judgment was declared null and void or invalid. So the opposite of that would be credible, something that is valid, something that is trustworthy in that particular situation. So option D, credible, is the answer to this question. Do you know you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can download the Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and the Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Now on to question 85. In each of the following questions, choose the option nearest in meaning to the word or phrase underlined. Unemployment among school leavers has reached epidemic proportions. Option A, urban. Option B, spreading. Option C, disease. And option D, extensive. So the answer to this question is option D, extensive. So the word epidemic actually means something that is becoming widespread. So it's usually used to refer to diseases, how disease gets widespread and become an epidemic. So now in this particular situation is used as an adjective. So it's explaining how something has become widespread. So the word nearest in meaning to that is extensive. So the reason why option D, extensive, is the answer and not option B, spreading, because extensive best fits that particular context. So if you put spreading there, the sentence would not make sense. You can't say unemployment among school leavers has reached spreading proportions. So spreading doesn't fit that context. Extensive fits it best. Extensive also means something that is widespread, that has extended beyond the limits. So option D, extensive, is the answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 86. Again, we have to look for the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word. At a crucial time, one should be cautious in taking decisive action. Option A, significant. Option B, inconclusive. C, indecisive. And D, trivial. The answer to this question is option A, significant. So the word decisive actually means taking an important and firm decision in a particular situation. So in this context, it means taking an important and firm decision at a crucial time. So the word that is nearest in meaning to that is significant. When you are taking decisive action, you are taking an important, a significant decision about a particular situation. So option B, C, and D have negative connotation. Inconclusive, indecisive, trivial. They do not have that positive connotation that is attached to taking a decisive action. So option A, significant, is the answer to this question. Question 87. Again, we have to look for the word nearest in meaning to the underlined phrase. The assistant class teacher was told to stand in for Mrs. Chukwudi. Option A, compensate, B, receive, option C, support, and D, ignore. So the answer to this question is option C, support. So the phrase standing actually means to take the place of someone temporarily in order to support them while they are away. So the nearest meaning to that would be to support them. So when you are standing in for someone, you are supporting them temporarily while they are away. So option C, support, is the answer to this question. Question 88. Again, we are looking for the nearest meaning to the underlined word. The board chairman cherishes punctuality at the meeting. Option A, condemns, B, abhors, C, despises, and D, admires. So the answer to this question is option D, admires. So the word cherishes actually means to place a lot of value on something, to really like something. So the nearest meaning to that would be admires. Admires and cherishes both mean to place a lot of value on a particular thing or on someone. So the words condemns, abhors, and despises have negative connotations, and so they would not be a replacement for the word cherishes. The answer to this question is option D. Question 89. In each of the following questions, select the option that best completes the gap. The touts dash arrested during the riots. Option A, were, option B, was, option C, were, and option D, is. The answer to this question is option A, were. So we are looking for a plural verb to fill in that position because we have a singular noun at the beginning of the sentence. Tout is a plural noun, it's referring to a group of people. So where the plural verb is supposed to fill in that gap. So it's important to note that the where in option A is different from the where in option C. The where in option C is a relative adverb. You use it to begin a relative clause. Okay, so we do not need a relative adverb here. We need a verb, right? An auxiliary verb that helps to express the tense in that sentence. So option A, where, is the answer to this question. Question 90. Again, we have to look for the option that best completes the gap. The ripe orange was beyond his dash. A, touch, B, catch, C, pluck, D, reach. The answer to this question is option D, reach. So when something is beyond someone's reach, that's a very common expression. It's a very common idiom. So it means that it is not accessible to that person. So this ripe orange was not accessible to the person who was trying to pluck it. So option D, reach, is the answer to this question. Question 91. The students dashed the planned meeting with the new principal. Option A, refused, B, neglected, C, boycotted, and D, rejected. The answer to this question is option C, boycotted. Boycotted is the common terminology that you use when you are referring to an intentional attempt to avoid attending something or partaking in something as a form of protest. So in this particular context, the student chose not to attend the planned meeting with the new principal as a form of protest. So you need to use the word boycotted to fill in that gap. Option C is the answer to this question. Question 92. Take your share and give them dash. Option A, theirs, option B, their, option C, theirs, and option D, theirs. So the answer to this question is option B, theirs. That is theirs without the apostrophe. So when you are trying to show possession, that something belongs to a group of people, you make use of theirs and not the theirs with the apostrophe. You do not use an apostrophe when showing possession. So this form of theirs is incorrect in any situation in English. You do not make use of the apostrophe with theirs. Then the word there is used as an adverb most of the time when you are pointing at something. The thing is over there. So that's when you make use of there. You do not make use of it when you are trying to show possession, that something belongs to a particular group of people. It is not a pronoun in this particular situation. Theirs is also incorrect, but you can use it when you are saying there is something and then you contract it, you say there's something there. So option A, B, and C cannot fill in this gap. Option D, theirs, is the answer to this question. Question 93. The children chased all the dash away. Option A, goose, option B, gooses, option C, geezes, and option D, geese. So the answer to this question is option D, geese. The reason for that is we are trying to fill in this gap with a plural form of the noun. So we are looking for the plural form of the noun goose, and that is geese. So the plural form of goose is geese. Option D is the answer to this question. Question 94. It went dash the corridor looking for the principal's office. Option A, under. Option B, among. Option C, along. And option D, around. So the answer to this question is option C, along. So we're actually looking for a preposition to fill in that gap. So when you are walking through a group of offices trying to find a particular one, you are walking along the corridor. That means you are walking in a line or a path. So you make use of along to show that you are walking in a line or a path. You do not make use of under, among, or around when you are describing what you are doing on the corridor. You walk along the corridor, not under, not among, not around the corridor. Option C, along, is the answer to this question. Do you have a question? Please feel free to ask a question by going down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can ask a question and a solution will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now to question 95. To be alive after such a serious accident dash a celebration. Option A is called for, B called for, C has been called for, and D calls for. So the answer to this question is option D, calls for. So the clause to be alive after such a serious accident is a noun clause. It is also referred to as a to infinitive gerund. That means it's referring to a particular state, right? The state of being alive after such a serious accident. So it's a noun clause because it's referring to a state. A state is a noun, right? It's an idea, it's a thing. So this is a singular subject. So a singular subject usually requires a singular verb. So this is the reason why calls for best fits in that particular gap. You make use of a singular verb, calls for, and not call for. So other options, option A and C, cannot fill in that particular gap. When you use it, the sentence will be awkwardly placed. It will be inaccurate. It will be grammatically inaccurate. So option D, calls for, is the best option to fill in that gap. Option D is the answer to this question. Do you have a better explanation or solution to any of these questions? If you do, please go down to the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solution you'd like to share. Question 96. In each of the following questions, choose the option that rhymes with the given word. Light. Option A, lure. Option B, hate. Option C, right. And option D, caught. So let's go to the board to transcribe each of the words. So the word light can be transcribed as this. Light. So we have the diphthong I, light. Then option A is lure. It is transcribed as this. Again, we have another diphthong. It's pronounced as uo, luo. Then option B, we have hate, hate. We have the h sound. Then we have the a and the t, hate. Then option C is right. We have the r sound, the diphthong I and t, right. Then option D is pronounced as caught. So it's transcribed as k, ought, caught. So from the transcription, remember that when we are trying to answer rhyme questions, we have to look for the one that has the most sounds that are similar to the given word in each of the options. So option A, lure, has nothing in common at the end with the word light. Then the word hate has only t in common with light. A is the diphthong here, while I is in light. So they do not have a similar vowel sound. Then option C, right. It has the t sound in common. It also has the diphthong I in common with light. The only difference is the initial consonant sound. Then for caught, it's only t that it has in common with light. So from this, we can see that light and right rhyme with each other. So let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription, we can see that option C, right, is the answer to this question. Question 97. Again, we have to look for the word that rhymes with the given word. The given word is drafts. Option A, drought. Option B, drafts. Option C, after. And option D, crafts. Now let's go back to the board to transcribe the words. So this word is pronounced as drafts, although there is no letter F in the word, but it is pronounced as drafts. So when you transcribe it, you have drafts. Then option A is pronounced as droughts. So this is how it is transcribed. We have droughts. Droughts. Then option B is pronounced as drafts as well. So it's transcribed as this. Drafts. Then option C is pronounced as after. So it's transcribed as this. Then option D is pronounced as crafts. So it's transcribed as this. So from the transcription, option A has only t and s in common with the given word. Option B has all sounds in common with drafts. So we can see that these words are homonyms. They sound alike, exactly alike, because they have exactly the same sounds in the word. Then option C, after, doesn't have anything in common with the drafts, because from the end we can see that the schwa sound already is not present in the given word, so it has nothing in common. Then option D, crafts, it's only the f and s at the end of the word that is common to the given word. So from the transcription we can see that drafts and drafts are pronounced exactly the same way, so they rhyme with each other. Let's go back to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription, option B, drafts, is the answer to this question. Question 98. In each of the following questions, choose the option that has the same vowel sounds as the one represented by the letter underlined. So the word is market and the letter E is underlined. Option A, bread. Option B, him. Option C, hem. And option D, leopard. Now let's go to the board to transcribe the words. So for the word market, the letter E is the underlined word. So the vowel sound there is the E sound. So we have the short E sound. It's pronounced market. Then option A is bread. Bread has the air sound, the short A. So it's pronounced as bread. Then option B is pronounced as him. Right? So we just have the E sound there. Then option C is pronounced as hem. We have the air sound here as well. Then option D is pronounced as leopard. So for this sound, it is the air sound here. And then for this, we have the schwa sound. Oh, it's pronounced as leopard. So from the transcription, we can see that him and market have that vowel sound represented by the letter E. So let's go to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription of the vowel sound, we can see that option B, him, is the answer to this question. Question 99. Again, we have to look for the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the underlined letter. So the word is bathe. The underlined letter is the letter A. Option A, rake. Option B, tear. Option C, bathe. And option D, care. Now let's go to the board to transcribe the words. So for the word bathe, the vowel sound there is the A sound. Bathe. Then option A is rake. Again, we have the A sound. Then option B is pronounced tear. So it's a diphthong, that is the air sound. It's pronounced as tear. Then option C is pronounced bath. So we have the R sound, the long one. Then option D is pronounced as care. Again, we have the air, the long, we have the diphthong air. So from the transcription, we can see that rake and bathe, they have a similar vowel sound there. So let's go to the screen to mark our answer. So from the transcription, we can see that rake, option A, is the answer to this question. Question 100. In each of the following questions, choose the most appropriate stress pattern from the options. The stress syllable is written in capital letters. So the word is immunity. So we're going to look at each of the options to see which one of them has the appropriate stress pattern. So first of all, what we'll do is to divide the words into syllable. So we have 4 syllables here. Immunity. So it's pronounced as immunity. So remember, when we are trying to find the stress of polysyllabic words, there are no exact rules. We only have certain rules that can help us guide us towards the answer, but they do not work in all cases. So it's important to use your judgment whenever you are trying to find the appropriate stress pattern for these words. So the word is immunity. So from the way I pronounce it, immunity, you can see that the stress is in mu. But there is also a rule that can help you. The rule is that whenever a word ends with ity, the stress is usually on the antepenultimate syllable. That is the 3rd syllable from the last. So when you count it, you have 1, 2, 3rd syllable from the last. So the stress is usually here. And again, when we pronounce the word immunity, we can say that the stress is on mu. So from this explanation, we can see that option A, immunity, is the answer to this question. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.